So does LeBron have a point? Of course he does. He has a point in this. Because he can say, listen, I've lived this now for at least the last 20 years. Even if you want to say I took a backseat behind Kobe, I've lived having to be the face of the league. I've lived that criticism. And the league hasn't been in this position, at least in my opinion, since 1994 when Jordan went through his first hiatus, that they didn't know who the face of their organization was going to be. Now, Anthony Edwards is saying that although I may be the favorite to be the next face of the league, I don't want to be. That's what you have Victor Wembanyama for. And I believe that rocked the NBA and Adam Silver a tiny bit. However, LeBron James would give his comments on the matter following a Lakers win last week of what he feels, or that he doesn't blame Anthony Edwards for not wanting to be the face of the league. And it's really sparked a lot of conversation throughout the basketball landscape. Here's LeBron James.
Why do you want to be the face of a league when all the people that that cover our game and talk about our game on a day-to-day basis on everybody? I mean, that responsibility, it's just weird. It's weird energy from the people that I don't know. But Channing, he said it. He said it perfectly. Couldn't have said it no better. But Ant said he don't want it. Obviously I didn't ask for it. But I knew there was a responsibility for me, not only to my family, my friends, my community, and whoever that was going to follow my journey throughout my career. Not only in Ohio when I started there, but all over America and all over the world when I traveled all over the world. So I've always taken that seriously and understood from the beginning what being a professional was all about and being a role model was all about. So try to hold that with the utmost respect and honor. And I feel I understand. I completely understand. This is weird energy when it comes to that. So.
I would play the Channing Frye clip. That's who he was talking about. Channing Frye was talking about a lot of individuals aren't enjoying what LeBron James has done or what the stars of tomorrow are doing due to the fact that their names aren't Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. But I wanted to save that for next week because I have a bigger question that I want to ask you guys next week on the program. So let me try to just break down what LeBron James is saying in a few different areas. Now, one thing that I did find a bit laughable was that he said, I didn't ask to be the face of the league. I think, in my opinion, he knew and he understood what his destiny was should he want to play in the NBA. He was absolutely special. You had a guy in Sonny Vaccaro when LeBron James was at the ABCD camp said he won't be one of the greatest players of all time. No, he'll be in the argument for the greatest player of all time, and that's 14 years old. He is self-proclaimed. Sports Illustrated gives him a cover, the chosen one. Not too many guys who aren't asking to be the face of the league or don't know what's coming down the road are being labeled the chosen one. And he could have stopped all that dead in his tracks and said, listen, I don't want to be the chosen one. We heard guys like Kobe and Iverson say, listen, we want to be the first us. We're not looking to be the next Mike. He said himself that coming back from a 3-1 deficit against the Golden State Warriors made him the GOAT. Now, if he was just another solid player in NBA history that wasn't on the level of a Jordan, Kobe, Magic, Bird, Kareem, Shaq, whomever you want to name, we probably all have a good laugh and say, okay. But I feel like he's able to say that because, A, he believes it. But I also think he says, well, hey, look at my stats. At the end of my career, how can you not say I'm the GOAT? And I've also been the face of the league. And every GOAT in which we've had that have been in the GOAT conversation at one point in time was the face of the NBA. With the exception for, admittedly, a guy like a Grant Hill who said, I thought it was premature to make me the face of the NBA when Jordan retired because it felt like the NBA was grasping at straws at that point. Because there was probably a notion that MJ may not come back. So they needed to find the next guy. Now let me flip it to the other side of the coin. When it comes to our game gets crapped on the most by the media, well, the world is funny now. It's a 24-hour news cycle. And us fans, I can't leave us out of the equation because we've gotten deep into the weeds of it as well. We're like the Oprah show. Everybody's made to feel special. When sometimes we should just shut up and close our mouths. And we have those individuals, whether that be on Sports Talk Radio or on ESPN, Fox, CBS, who feed us their opinion. And if we agree with it, we all stand there and say, yeah. Now, with my show that I have here, I'm never going to try to sway you as to how you should view the game. If you love the game, great. If you don't, great. And I'm always here to have these conversations for or against. This is just a game I love, and I love talking about it with you guys here in Jacksonville. But let's also take into account that a lot of former players and maybe some even current players do talk about today's game. And they'll acknowledge that sometimes the game is great, sometimes it's not. However, the idea that someone shouldn't be the face of the NBA due to the fact that this is a 24-hour news cycle and everyone's able to give their opinion, and you have guys like Barkley and Stephen A. and Skip Bayless that will crap on LeBron or they'll crap on the league and how it is now. I understand that those guys get paid a lot of money to opine and to shed light on what they think about today's game. Jason McIntyre talked about it. You go on any other network, MLB Network, NFL Network, they're always promoting the game, the stars of tomorrow. It seems like the inside the NBA crew doesn't do that. Many would argue Stephen A. doesn't do that, and I don't disagree with you. But it shouldn't be the reason why you don't want to be the face. But also on the other side, Charles Barkley talked about this a couple weeks ago. You can't hand somebody the mantle of face of the league. This has to be taken. Jordan took it. Whether you want to say that was a game that no one ever saw, but the guys in the 92 Olympics are able to talk about it and say it was a game where Jordan said, listen, there's a new sheriff in town. And as much as Magic and Bird want to talk about the 80s, this is the 90s. This is my league now. Kobe took it. He wanted that. LeBron, in a way, took it. Do guys of today want to? And, hey, let's compare eras. If we want to say, listen, a lot of guys get too critical of the game. Were they not critical of Magic and Bird in the 80s? They saved the NBA, sure. It was on tape delay. Jordan talks about it in the Last Dance documentary. There were guys that were coming into camp out of shape. Many were doing drugs. Some were smoking between halves. But didn't Magic Johnson get called Tragic Johnson in an NBA Finals series against the Celtics because he didn't have a great series against Boston? And what did he do? He came back the next year, gave it to everybody, and won the chip. And the rest of the league had to eat crow. Michael Jordan, oh my God, the guy is selfish. He doesn't understand team basketball. Undeniably, one of the greatest offensive talents and probably talents overall we've seen in our game, and it's only a short sample size. But if you ask Peter Vesey, if you ask other people in the media, he's an ass. CNN just did a documentary on Kobe Bryant, a 3-parter. Scoop Jackson talks about there were a lot of guys on that Lakers team that would have admitted to Kobe, listen, you're the best player on our team at 17 years old. But because he was such a jerk, we don't want to give this guy the satisfaction. And he doesn't act like a rookie. This guy thinks he's Jordan already. And he's acquiescing to no one? Dude, he can't feel that special. He can't believe he's that special. He thinks he's going to be the Will Smith of the NBA at that time? Get this kid out of my face. 2010, it's LeBron's world. He's the guy. He also said he's chasing the ghost of MJ. This wasn't just for family and friends. This is for his legacy. He wanted to be viewed in the same stratosphere with the guys of the past. Now, in today's era, the question is, who's taking the mantle? Aside from Jason Tatum, who I feel wants to be the face of the NBA. Is it Wemby? Take the European side out of it because we've talked about that for quite some time now. Is the NBA ready or not for a European guy to be the face of the whole NBA, the whole league? Just take that out of the equation. I don't think Giannis ever wanted to be the face of the NBA. He wanted the game of life. I was a poor kid in Africa who went to Greece. I've made so much money in the NBA. My family's family is going to be good. I won. If they want to make me the face, it's just icing on the cake. Anthony Edwards, Ja Morant took my family out of tough situations. The guy they wanted in Zion Williamson, he has his off-the-court issues. Could that turn around? He's still young. But the NBA understands they're in their final moments with guys like Steph, LeBron, and KD. How about Nikola Jokic? Aesthetically, we love making fun of the fact that he has a dad bod, but he's killing everybody in the NBA. But I think he wants to play basketball and ride horses. Or at least train horses and take care of horses. I don't think he, aside from the criticism, the fact that if anybody wants to talk to an NBA player, you now have to be the guy. So now you have to hold yourself a certain way. Do guys want to do that now in today's NBA? Aside from the fact that you want to talk about Stephen A. and Skip Bayless and Kendrick Perkins and Charles Barkley, do you want to be that guy who's at the forefront? But again, for me, I also put this on the NBA. Remember we had shows like Inside Stuff with Ahmad Rashad? Remember we had a show called NBA Action? I still believe NBA TV does that, but it's not as prevalent as it used to be. There used to be a show called The Association, which was basically Hard Knocks for the NBA. Well, we got to see like the inside stories of certain players and certain guys. They now leave that up to teams. The NBA doesn't do that as a whole anymore, in my opinion. But I will give this to LeBron. I don't think that there is a balance of criticism and praise. Not saying that everything's all critical, but not everything's all praise. Listen, we were praising Anthony Edwards not too long ago, saying that this is the son of Michael Jordan. He's 84 Mike. LeBron James, Charles Barkley has said it. I think he's the greatest story in all of sports. And for a guy where nothing has got out, if he has dead bodies, we don't know. He has been Mr. Goody Two-Shoes. He did something Jordan couldn't. Jordan had a gambling problem. Kobe had his situation in 2004. Iverson, he wants to be a rapper. And even though the kids love him, are we really ready to take that step? But the NBA, they don't have things anymore where the casual fan and the diehard fan, we can get our fix with the appreciation of the league. That doesn't come down to who talks about the sport. That now comes down to storytelling, in my opinion. Why the NBA doesn't do that anymore, in my opinion, it's because of social media. Guys are looking to social media now. Not everybody's watching the game 24 hours a day. The nostalgia factor of the NBA on NBC coming back is great, but how many people are actually going to watch the NBA on NBC over TNT, ESPN, ABC after a month, after 2 months? People are going to get tired of probably hearing Round Ball Rock after a while. So does LeBron have a point? Of course he does. He has a point in this. Because he can say, listen, I've lived this now for at least the last 20 years. Even if you want to say I took a backseat behind Kobe, I've lived having to be the face of the league. I've lived that criticism. Sometimes it can be a little bit too much from guys. Not just because he is saying I can't handle it, because I think he does. I think he does a good job in doing so. Same time, you're paying a lot of these guys a lot of money to talk crap about our game when they should be praising it a little bit more than we think they do.